Hi everyone, it's me again. So in this video I'm going to introduce you to these two concepts in React, declarative and component-based. So as I said before, React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces, and you use declarative style and components to render the views, okay? So what I mean by declarative, I have small examples over here to show you the difference. So if we look over here, we see HTML code, and over here on the other side we have JavaScript code. So if you look at the HTML code, if you notice in HTML we just say what we want and we get what we want. So if you want, for example, if you want to display an h1 tag to the DOM, we just say open tag, closing tag h1, and we put the text, whatever text we want. So this is in h1, okay? And that's all we gotta do to display something to the DOM. We don't have to deal with any programmatic things or anything. But if we look here in JavaScript, uses imperative styles. So what in JavaScript, when we want to create an element and display it to the DOM, we have to do a lot. As you can see, there's a lot of code over here. So the first thing we did over here to create an element and inject it into the DOM is we added an event listener on body load. When the body loads, we're gonna execute this function, add element, okay? And this function basically what it does, it creates an element, a div element in this case, and it create some text and append that text inside the div that we just created, and then we are selecting the parent div, this div over here, and then we inject in that div that we just created into that parent div. So as you can see from this code, it's a lot we have to deal with. That's why HTML is very simple and easy to read, and JavaScript is very complicated. Okay, and I have a small example over here in React to show you how React works. So React uses syntax like HTML. So if we want an h1, we just say h1, and we can put the text inside is h1. Okay, and that's all we have to do to display something to the DOM. It's very simple and use declarative style. Okay, so move on to the next concept, component-based. So what they really mean by component is React split code into components. So in React, we split chunk of codes into components to make it easier to read and also to reusability. Okay, so let's take for example this button over here. This button over here may be a component, okay, on its own, a separate component. So we create it once and we import it into our project, and we can use it wherever we want to. All we have to do is import the component and use it right away. We don't have to copy or paste. So that's what they mean by component based. We separate chunk of code into components, and we can use these components without having to deal with copy and paste or anything. We just import them and use them right away. So if you look at this button over here, I believe they have another button over here, and it's the same button, as you can see. So what they probably did is they made one component, a button, and they did use it twice. Okay, over here you see they used it twice, but it is the same button. They just import it and used it twice in the project without having to copy or paste or anything. Okay, so this is all I got today, and I'll see you in the next video.